If I were to walk up to you and say that you could choose between a 1 ounce gold bar and a water bottle, you wouldn't really have to think much about the choice, would you? Because you're in a position where you can logically reason out the value of each thing and determine that a water bottle is worth at most maybe a dollar or two from the store versus a gold bar that's 1 ounce being worth around $2,000 with its premium. So, what that means is that by not choosing the gold, you would automatically be losing around $2,000 in value. Even if you don't care about gold, you could sell the gold bar and buy as many water bottles as you'd like pretty much. So, with that in mind, then, how does water ever become more valuable than gold? Well, let's imagine that you're now in a situation in which there's no store for around 10 miles, you've been walking for 15 miles, and you feel like you're on the cusp of succumbing to dehydration. It's 90 degrees outside, you're just dying, you don't even have enough water left to sweat anymore, your body's overheating, and then you have that same choice presented to you. I'm not saying that you wouldn't choose the gold still because you might be able to fight through the rest of your walk, but the value of that water is all of a sudden a lot higher, isn't it? When you know that you can't walk and buy that water from any store near you, when you have no choice but to continue going forward without the water if you don't choose it, there's no option to go and get some later, you just have to suffer. All of a sudden, it becomes a lot harder. And now the cost of that gold is not just the fact that you're losing a water bottle, it's the fact that you're not getting to be hydrated in order to choose the gold bar. The cost is no longer just 50 cents or a dollar that the water bottle is worth, it's now your health. And you see how, in that situation, water becomes a lot more valuable than it would be otherwise. That's the situation for probably over a billion or maybe even billions of people around the world, of course. People who don't have the basic infrastructure that they need to support human life or to barely support it. Those people are never going to value something like gold or silver as much as just basic resources like water. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it shows that scarcity can be manufactured. Water realistically is not a scarce resource on this planet. If it were, then humans would not be thriving the way that they do. But in some countries, due to geographical and even political issues, there's not enough water available, and therefore, to those people, it is a scarce resource, and it's also an essential resource as well. And when you combine those two things, of course, you can drive the human spirit to do very illogical, or what I should say seems to be illogical things, just to have that resource available to them. Because that person can't really eat a block of silver, no matter how much it might be worth to you or me. So to them, it's worthless. Now, what happens in a nation like the United States where generally we do have access to clean drinking water unless you're in Michigan, and we do have an ability to actually go to the supermarket instead of having to hunt for food, for example. Basically, we have a lot of convenience. What happens when companies go and manipulate this feeling of scarcity? They go and manufacture it and make you feel as though you need their product despite the fact that you, of course, do not. Well, that's how you start getting people who are willing to go into debt just to get the newest iPhone when they have one that's 2 years old. Or how you get people that make choices that to us seem very illogical despite the fact that to them it's fully justified. Because in their mind, they need to have whatever it is that's being pushed to them. Whatever propaganda was used in that advertising was effective enough to convince them that their life will never be the same without this product, even though the reality is that their life would be completely the same if they'd just never seen the advertisement. But that's why I really wanted to talk about this, because I think it's very important to identify the ways that big companies take advantage of the human brain in order to sell more products and to make us feel as though we need things that we never did.